Said this before, my name is Tim Payne. I go by Tim. I've been called that my whole life. That's my name. I don't like the sound of it, but I've learned to live with that. I understand most of you won't call me that. I understand that you're uncomfortable calling your teacher by their first name. I get it. Understand though too, Mr. Payne makes me sound like a supervillain or like a henchman, right? It's kind of weird, but it's fine. As long as you're not like super insulting, you pretty much call me what you want. So like, don't call me bitch, stuff like that, right? That's the bar. Anything above that, I'm probably okay with. But you can also just call me Tim. I'm from Douglasville. You may have heard of it. Pretty close to here. School. I graduated from here, bachelor's in English. I stayed here for a master's in lit. Then I went to the University of Alabama. I taught and studied poetry for 3 years at Alabama. And then I came back here. And if anyone is curious, some of you perked up when I said that, I am super invested with the game tonight. Pretty interested in the damn game. I'm also very upset that it doesn't start till 8 o'clock. Because I'm old. I go to bed at 9:30. I'm not even kidding. I'm beside myself that game's going to go till midnight.
You can go to bed at 9 o'clock tonight.
That's going to wreck me tomorrow. You have no idea.
Can you just are you streaming it or are you like?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay up and watch it. I'm not.
Oh, you're gonna stay up and watch
Yeah.
it? Okay.
I mean, you have to, right?
I don't follow sports.
Well, no, just whatever you're into. Like if it's live, you know. I mean, but yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it. I'm just like, you could kick off at 6 or anyway. Interesting fact. I mentioned I'm old. I'm older than I look. At least I've been told this, and it makes me feel nice. So I just keep saying. But I have a wife. I have 2 kids. I have 4 cats. I have a mortgage. I'm very boring. All that's real. That's my bio. I don't have a lot of time to be interesting. I just don't. So what I like to do for that, I'll show you guys a picture of my kids. I took this like yesterday or the day before, actually.
Oh, that's
What's up?
I didn't know that was the basketball.
Yeah, they take up a lot of time. Teenage, you start like, fuck off, Dad. Like you're not like, right? But right now they still want a lot of my time, and I like to give it to them. They're very sweet, most of the time. Most of the time. They are good to each other. They're very good brothers, but that's them. So, like I said, that'll be a nice thing to show you guys. All right, what I want to do now, the most fun thing you've done all day. Ooh, wait, I got cocky with this, and that's my fault. Hang on. Nice. There's a whole lot of buttons. I think you need about 3, but I have 12 over there. We're going to talk about the syllabus. It's not fun, but we have to. What I wanted to do is also talk to you a little bit about CourseDen. My first 2 classes I was able to log in, and now my last 2 classes I'm not. So that's fun homework for me. But that's my way of saying I can't show it to you right now because I can't get in. But it's there. I imagine most of you, does anybody not know what CourseDen is at all? Okay. I like to think it's pretty well organized. I may touch on it next time just to make sure you understand where stuff's at. But I think it makes sense, but we'll look at it. Anyway, syllabus is what we're going to do most of today anyway. Everything at the top, this is my information, my name. Wait, that says Callaway 203. Did I mess that up or did they change the room? I should fix that though. Because they changed the rooms over the break. I bet that's what it used to be. Anyway, my office is the same. It's Pafford 304J. J because it's a cubicle. Jealous. Phone number, who uses those? Email, tpayne@westgate.edu. I know it's spelled differently, but I've been told that email is very memorable. Yeah, look at me. Exactly. It's funny, but he spells it differently. Anyway, office hours, Monday, Wednesday, 11 to 12. I was there today. It was very sad. Virtual office hours, Tuesday, Thursday, 8:30 to 11. What that tends to look like, sometimes I'm in my office, but most of the time I'm at my house. I'm near my phone or I'm near my laptop. I do have them open. I'm usually pretty on top of my emails anyway, but especially during virtual office hours. Occasionally a student will want to like video chat or something, which honestly I'm not super happy about, but I'll do it. But anyway, I'm available during these times as well, basically. Especially if you prefer to meet virtually in some capacity. Writing center hours asynchronously, I'll talk about that here in a minute. A whole bunch of links you won't use, so we'll just move along. Oh yeah, this is an old syllabus, that's what, okay. All this is accurate, by the way, but we're missing some stuff that's on course then, so we'll just live with that for now. Texts. I sent you guys an email. I meant to send two. I may have sent two. Do you guys check your inboxes?
I go.
Yeah.
Some of you? Okay, good.
Check my inbox.
Well, because this is a 2000 level class, so you guys have like kind of made the cut. My other three classes today are all comp. They're all like freshman English. They don't check their emails. Real talk. Like there's a watershed. There's a moment where the kind of student who checks their emails, they get through to the other side, and a lot of the folks who don't, because you don't know what's going on. That's good to know. Anyway, I mentioned this in those emails, but I want to say it here. Those are the three movies we're going to be watching. Rocky, Die Hard, The Matrix. I kind of had two schools of thought, like two possible ideas for this class, and I went with one of them. But there are two ways you can do this, because this is not like a proper film class, okay? I don't know if you've had one of those or if you ever, they're fun. I had a couple when I was a student. Those tend to be, you're going to watch like 6 or 7 movies, right? Like a movie every week, and you're going to talk about them, but it's a little more intense, okay? This kind of class isn't meant to be that. So we could probably top out around 3. What that meant was I could do one of two things. I could either do like an intro to action movies type class, which honestly probably still would have included Rocky, but it would have been from that era. So like 2 more movies from that era. Or we could do what I did instead, which is more of, does anybody have like maybe had a lit class, like World Lit, Brit Lit, one of those? You know, you read like ancient literature all the way up to maybe like the 1800s, you know, this really long, kind of broad brush approach. I went with that. I was like, we'll watch an earlier movie, we'll watch one kind of in the middle, the heyday, right? And then we'll watch right at the end of the last century. We'll cover 30 years in a semester type of thing. Yes, sir?
Yeah, I noticed when I was looking at the movie list on the email, it was like 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah.
Is that like one of the themes you went with?
Well, because each decade is in some ways super different, and I think that'll help us think about the movies. Like, because what I don't want to do is just like talk, and we will a little bit because it's fun to do. I don't want to just talk about some crazy action sequence or almost like plot stuff, right? But like, why is Rocky, when we watch it and talk about it, so different in some ways from Die Hard, right? Well, it's indicative of their time. And them being so far spaced apart, I hope, is going to make it easier for us to identify those differences and like that evolution, right? So, I mean, I put it to you this way. 2021 is sort of wildly different from 2011, which is actually when I was a student. That just struck me. That's weird. I was a student in 2011 on this campus. This campus is very different. But no, the world was, right? People thought things differently. They felt differently about things. That's reflected in the movies we make. And we're going to see that in Rocky. We're going to see it in Die Hard. We're going to see it in The Matrix. Like, people are concerned about different things. But yeah, that's why I wanted like one from each one, so we could think about each era on its own. But all that is my way of saying, again, if this were like a proper film class, we'd watch more movies. We could get more a little in depth, maybe, with the genre, because we'd have more to talk about. So this will feel a little like less deep dives, a little broader, right? But I still think we have some cool conversations about this stuff. Also listed on here, we're gonna watch this next time, part of it. I don't know if anybody looked this up. It's like a 2.5-hour documentary. I would never assign you something like that in my life, okay? But we're gonna watch it basically 3 different times over the course of the semester. Some crazy person loves action movies enough to make a 2.5-hour documentary where they cover, like, from the 70s almost all the way up till now. And I actually think it's super helpful in terms of thinking about the genre, but like for next time, we're gonna watch the first 40 minutes. It's gonna show you a lot of different movies we have no way of watching, right? Just all of those. People talking about the genre, people talking about like guys that made the movies, like what they were thinking, stuff like that. I think it'll just be a really good jumping off point for us before we actually watch Rocky. But that's my way of saying we're gonna watch this one in class. It is super available, but we'll watch it in class. Any questions about the text at this stage? Or any thoughts on those? Has anybody ever not seen Rocky? Oh, it's so good. It's so good. You may not agree, but like, it's so good.
It didn't age well, man.
I think
It's
it's
still pretty badass.
dude. It's written and directed by Sylvester Stallone. That's what people don't appreciate. Like he's in it because he made it. Like he made it. What is that?
He was homeless when he came up with the idea for that.
Yeah, like it.
Wait, really?
He
It's
sold his dog to get the money to do this.
Damn.
Got rich and then went and bought his dog back.
that is a weird bit of true trivia actually.
Sorry.
It's wild. Like, look, you may have different opinions, but I think it's an awesome movie. But anyway, we'll talk about that stuff. The one thing I'll say about the text right now, and again, I think this is in the email. You want to try to find some way to watch these movies. Originally, I tried really hard to find stuff we could just, like stuff that was just on Netflix. But increasingly, especially over the past year, like, it's like, well, it's not on Netflix, but it's on Amazon, or oh no, it's on HBO, or oh no, and there was just no way to get 3 movies on one streaming platform. It was impossible. So my advice is just look around. If you have to rent something, shop around for a good price. I mean, Amazon these days, YouTube, you can rent stuff for, I mean, like $2 or $3, right? Like it's not bad. Worst case scenario, you can find some of these used as well. Like if you look ahead of time, we bought a DVD copy of The Matrix just so I would have it as a backup. I think it was like $5. You know, you just want to look around a little bit. Anyway, we kind of covered this already a little bit, but there's stuff here about, and you may or may not think of it this way, but film, when done right at least, is an art form. And any art is emblematic of its time. Even bad art, actually, is emblematic of its time, right? Like, I imagine most of you saw the Avengers movies, or at least the last couple. There's some really cool shit going on in those movies. I mean that. I saw the last one. My wife wanted to see it, so I went to see it. I don't know that we needed 30 of those. Or however, I don't know. I know most of them are good. Or maybe they're, I don't know that we legit, I think it's like 30 or something Avengers movies. That seems like too many.
No, I don't think you understand. Disney wanted money.
Well, exactly. But that's kind of emblematic of our time, isn't it? Like you can have these heights. Like, dude, the opening scene of the last movie where you realize Hawkeye's family is gone. I was like, fuck. 5 seconds into the movie, I was like, you are shitting me, right? Like it hit me here. But then you have that one movie, and again, 30 others. So there's good and bad with it. It says all kinds of really interesting things about us as a society, that like we're so interested in like the central role of the family in that opening scene, right? We see how it affects him later. Is it really so central to his character that like he basically forgets who he is? He turns into somebody else, right? Like there's stuff going on there. And on the flip side of that coin is, this is just all part of like a really, really, really long franchise. This is owned by Disney. They're gonna make rides out of this. They're gonna make like mugs out, like T-shirts. Like it's. So it says both about us as a people. That's kind of what we're motivated by. That's interesting. Rocky does that. Die Hard does that. Matrix does that. And that's what we're gonna talk about this semester. There's a content advisory here. I mean, I'm pretty sure all these movies are rated R. I don't remember what The Matrix is rated. They're gonna curse. some people are gonna like get blown up and stuff, especially in Die Hard. It's called Die Hard. I mean, come on. You may see a breast or two. I think like it. You know, I feel like we can handle it. You guys aren't interested in that stuff. We'll just move on past it. We're gonna learn stuff though. It's gonna be all right. Assignments. So I kind of break it down here, and to me, as a student, it was actually always really daunting to see all this spelled out really quickly. I don't mean it to be. I mean this just to be like for reference, okay? Like super short list. If you're ever not sure what we're doing in the class in general, this is it, right? We're gonna have a short 2 to 3 paragraph writing assignment, very low stakes. We'll have a short essay that's 2 pages. We'll have an analytical essay that's 3 pages. We'll have a project later. It says a group project. Again, it's 2021. That's TBD. I really don't know if we're going to be in groups. We might. I mean, maybe the world will be better in a couple months. But, you know, we'll see on that. And then course participation. There's a lot here, but that basically boils down to homework. I can't think of any exceptions. Pretty much all your homework is online. It's all on CourseDin. And then a couple things will be due on turnitin.com. But that's it. It's all online. Okay? Questions about any of that thus far? Sweet. There's stuff about grades, rubrics. All that is available to you online. What else? I get back pretty quickly. I can't remember if anyone's emailed me yet from this class. I had a bunch of emails this morning. I tend to get back pretty quickly. It really depends, I'll be honest with you. It depends on the email. So if I see in the little preview, like we all have phones, right? You know what I'm talking about? If it seems like something I can get, like it's like a yes or a no, or like I'm not sure like about this, I hit you back super fast. If it's something I'm gonna have to look up, I'm gonna need time for that. Because that means I have to wait until my house is quiet. Sometimes that takes a while. Schedule. Okay. This is what you need 95% of the time when it comes to the syllabus. This is for you, right? Every day, all through the semester, what we're going to do in class, any homework you might have due, any reading you might have, in this case viewing, you have due. Okay. So the first day of class, review syllabus, class introductions. We're going to look at CourseDin next time because I have to figure that out. I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. Actually, I do. I'm just really troubled by all the nonsense I have to go through to fix it. Wednesday, we're going to look at, and I give you timestamps in case you're absent. We're going to look at those 40 minutes, give or take, of that documentary, and we're going to have time to talk about it. Basically, especially that first day, next time, not just what we saw in the documentary, but how this might help us think about the action genre, right? How this might help us, like how this shapes maybe certain ideas we might have when it goes into actually watching the movie, which will start next week, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Sometimes I say things and I'm like, that made sense to me, but it could have come out like terribly. All right. Other things on the syllabus. Important dates, okay? So drop ad is this Friday, MLK is next Monday, there's no class, right? Like stuff like that, spring break, any sort of notable dates you're gonna have just throughout. What else? I think all that's pretty self-explanatory. As I said, I want you to have Rocky watched for next week when we meet, okay? Hopefully that gives you enough time to get a hold of it. It goes like that the whole time. And then at some point we're done. We're almost done, I promise. I know the syllabus is really awful. Can you imagine writing one of these things? It's torture. Like it takes hours. Attendance. I do have an attendance policy. I can't in good conscience necessarily hold you to that this semester for reasons that I hope are obvious. That said, I do want to put it this way. So I really do especially last semester and this semester, do my best to represent the class online, okay? There are gonna be people that have to miss for one reason or another, right? And look, it's your prerogative. There are gonna be people some days who like just fucking wanna miss. That is actually okay. That's allowed in that attendance policy. I think you get 3 or something. That's fine. What I don't want to have happen is this, okay? I saw a lot of it last semester, so I want to give you a bit of a cautionary tale, and I apologize. Representing the class online as I do does allow for the idea, at least, that you could just stop coming at one point. I'm putting videos up. All your work is online. You can watch the movies on your own because that's what you got to do anyway. Like, you kind of make it work. Not coming in. You can. Some of you. Most of you, and this is me looking back on last semester, all the students I had who tried to do that, what tends to happen is you start out strong, you watch the videos, and then at a certain point, you're watching like 20 seconds of the videos. I can see how long you watch them on Courston. People were legit watching them for like 20 seconds. I post like a half-hour video class. If you're watching 20 seconds of class every day, that's like sticking your head in, yeah, I got it, and then leaving. And then you kind of stop doing the homework, and then at some point you just disappear. You just go away. You're just gone. It doesn't go well in that scenario, right? So I'm just saying, with very few exceptions, I don't think it will work well for you if you try to purely do the thing online, okay? It wouldn't work for me. Like, if I could keep my job and not come in, you would never see me. When I walk downstairs tomorrow, tired though I will be, hopefully from a national championship win, I'm going to walk downstairs, I'm going to see my Xbox, and I'm going to see my refrigerator. And that's going to be my day. Right? It gets hard to get motivated to do, like, work for school. So I'll put it to you that way. If you have to miss, we'll figure it out, right? But the rest of the time, it's going to help you, I think, usually come to class. It just goes better. Late work. It says I don't take it. I mean, if something comes up, I'm not a monster. You can talk to me, okay? On the flip side, if you know something is coming, like, oh, I have to do this, or I don't know. You guys have lives. Things happen. If you can get ahead of it, though, and let me know, keep me in the loop, that just tends to be easier. But I will work with you regardless. You just got to let me know, okay? Disruptive behavior. This one doesn't come up very often, but it has before. What's up?
Oh, I was saying you gotta tell a story.
Well, I got to be careful because it didn't go well. I mean, what usually happens, I mean, it's like somebody is a jerk, okay, to somebody else, like, and I'll try to like diffuse it, like, hey man, you gotta chill, or hey, calm down, you know, don't fucking, why are you laughing, like, you know, stuff like that. And if they keep going though, then it turns into, or you just have to leave, you have to get out. They're like, what are you, like, no, I'm God in this room, you don't get it, like, you have to go. And then they do, and these doors will do it actually. What'll happen is they'll get up, they'll storm out, they'll slam the door, which would actually be awkward in this room because we have 2 doors, so we'll still hear them. And then we'll get over it, right? I gotta be careful. I do enjoy doing it. It is fun for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. That moment sucks, but like the act of like, no, you have to go, that feels really good.
Story.
Well, there's a couple.
Please, I love your stories.
Nah, this one, like the one I'm really thinking about, the last time it happened, she told me to call the cops to get her to go. I actually didn't enjoy that, because I don't know if you know me very well, but like, I don't want the cops here. I'm not a fan of the cops. I grew up poor. Statistically, I know this. That's why I don't trust them. Just the thing about me. It's something I'm trying to get over. My wife makes fun of me when we pass a cop, like in traffic, because she sees me sit up straight. She sees me like, am I signaling? Oh God, like, I don't want him here. anyway, I just went to a place. I don't like that story.
All right.
But the other times are fun. I'm like, get the fuck out. Anyway, academic dishonesty. We're going to do some writing. This is mostly about plagiarism. I assume we all kind of have a working knowledge of what that is. What I will tell you about this, if you're ever not sure, and I mean this, you can talk to me. Just like the late work stuff. If we can get ahead of it, you're like, look, I have a question, or I was working with a friend and I bounced some ideas off that, like whatever. If you talk to me beforehand, it just goes way better. Because if I like discover something, then I come to you with it. That's a different conversation. We are almost done. I know I keep saying that. I don't like doing this either. MLA. We use MLA for major assignments. Does anybody have no idea what I mean when I say MLA? Okay. We may talk about it a little bit. You can always hit me up with questions about it. I have an MLA template on CourseStem. There's also this thing called Google. I know you guys know about Google, but you seem to forget sometimes when it comes to school stuff. It's like you can also use it for work. Extra credit, I don't give any. Writing Center. Okay, so this was at the top of the syllabus. The Writing Center, as the name would imply, they're there for written work. When I worked in there, I looked at a lot of English papers, a lot of psych papers, sociology, but honestly, it's anything written. Like I've helped people before, like, hey, I'm trying to get the scholarship. They make you write this essay about, what your dreams are. And like, look at it. Make sure I don't sound stupid. Whatever. If it's written, they'll look at it. And they're pretty good at what they do, actually, I think. So they're there for you, not just for this class, but others. You can do face-to-face, you can do online, and you can do asynchronous. What that one is, that's what I have this semester, is you submit work I don't know how it works on that end, on your end, but you submit work to them. They'll give it to me, and I have 48 hours to get you my notes on it, basically. I send that back to you. So there's different ways you can go there. But whatever you choose, you got to get in touch with them. You have to make an appointment, okay? There's a phone number or there's an email address if you prefer, but you can hit them up. You can get some help if you need it. There's the Center for Academic Success as well. They're more general tutoring. I don't see that really come into play in this class, but that's there for you. Slightly darker part of the syllabus, but I do have to highlight it real quick. I'm what's known as a mandatory reporter. Okay, I'm an employee of the state, and legally, if I find out about something illegal, I'm required to report it, or I could lose my job. Okay. Now put it to you that way. For this, if something happens to you or someone you know, or you just know something that's messed up your day, you want to talk to somebody, and that somebody happens to be me, I'm here for that. I really am. I don't mind doing that at all. But you need to know, because sometimes some people who want to talk about something don't want that shit reported, right? They're not interested in that. That's your prerogative. But if you tell me, it's not my choice at that point, okay? Unfortunately. Now that said, there are other people on campus. There's counseling services, there's patient victim advocates. I think the clinic can help you get in touch with any of those folks. I think the clinic might not be mandatory reporters as well, okay? Any of those three, if you just want somebody to talk to, you're not sure about what your next steps are, you talk to those people, okay? There's also the cops. They will report it. That's kind of their thing. But we have on-campus police as well, okay? Campus carry. So I'm weirdly not allowed to talk about this very much. Call it a sign of the times. But if that's something you're interested in, what I will tell you is you can't carry anytime, any place. That's not how it works. There's 2 links here that have all kinds of guidance on when and where you can do that. And I will tell you this, you are expected to know those times and places. And I would really hate to find out what happens to somebody if they get that shit wrong, right? Like, so if that's something you're interested in, that's up to you, but do your homework, is what I'm saying. Okay. That really might be it. Yeah, there's other stuff that you got, you know. Does that turn it? Yeah. All right. That's the syllabus. We made it. Time. I can't check. Okay. So all I want to do is spend a couple minutes and then we'll be done. Okay. But I'm just curious. What do you guys think of when you think of like action movies? Like, is there a kind of movie you think of, or do you even? I mean, this may help as well. Does anybody have like an either a favorite action movie or just one or two action movies they really like? Yeah, what's up? John Wick. I still need to see that. I've heard good things. Here's a fun thing. Two things. One, once you have kids, I think until they hit a certain age when they don't want anything to do with you, you just have no time. I couldn't tell you the last movie. I saw Wonder Woman when it came out because my wife wanted to go see it in the theaters. Like the first one.
Oh, not the new one.
No, because I don't have any damn time. Especially these days, they keep making movies like 2 hours, 2.5. Like dude, one of them is gonna wake up. They're gonna be upset. They're gonna ruin the movie. But anyway, the other thing about John Wick, my wife told me a pretty big spoiler in that movie about one of the characters, like not the main character, but another guy. I don't want to spoil it for anybody else. She's like, "Tell me about it," and I looked at her and go, "Yeah, I really wanted to see that at some point. So I appreciate you doing that." What's wrong with people? I've heard good things. It looks cool. I almost chose it for this class. That was going to be a good reason for me to like find time to watch it, you know? But it didn't really fit into our timeline because it's later. I've heard really good things. Nice. Why do you choose that one?
It's ongoing action. It's like dope stuff.
It's pretty wild.
You got movies that they got feelings, like they'll fill the movie just to make it longer. But that one's like it's constant action.
Well, that's interesting too. And when you say a couple things there, so, and I know you're not necessarily saying this, but just this is what you said. Do you feel like sometimes, maybe for action movies, if it's not action, like if it's just two characters like, Sarah, I love you, like do you feel like that's filler? The moments when
I ain't really into
character or like emotions. Okay, that's cool. I would too say that maybe that's somewhat a sign of our time, right? Like in terms of how some movies are made. There's a movie. Well, there's two movies actually. They're a couple years old. They're called The Raid. They are Korean, I think.
Oh yeah.
They are intense, but if you're looking for like wall to wall, not a lot of this, talking nonsense. They're pretty. They're about what you're thinking about. I think you can check them out. They're honestly maybe a little too intense for me, but they're good. Cool. Okay. A couple other ones. I just want to get a couple in the air. I'm just curious to hear what you guys think when you think of like an action movie.
Old Boy.
Old Boy. The original or the remake?
The original, not the remake.
I never saw the remake. I heard it wasn't great.
No, it wasn't good.
The original's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. Man. Did anybody see the new Old Boy? It was directed by Spike Lee, which is weird because I heard it was shit. But
well, he makes like every 2 years he makes one for like his audience
and one for money or
and
something.
then we got one for money and then one he wants to make.
Yeah, maybe. That'd be a weird one. Remake a Korean movie for money. I don't know.
Well, that was one of the money ones. So
Yeah. What? Man, there's again, I don't want to go, because he said Old Boy and a lot of you were like, I don't know what he's talking about. So I don't want to go down like a rabbit hole, but you talk about action. A lot of that movie isn't action, but the action scenes that are in it, dude, there's a fight scene with a hammer. I know you know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
It's pretty cool. I'm not a fan of hitting people with hammers. I don't want you to misunderstand me. But like this one scene, the whole time you're like, get that motherfucker. Like the whole time you're in it, like you're with this guy. You were like, hit every one of these people in the face. It's like justice almost. This guy, when he, I don't want to spoil it. Good movie. Wild ending. Good movie. Yeah, again, don't want to spoil it. But I remember where I was because I saw it when it came out years ago. I was living in my shitty apartment that you live in when you're 20.
The original Old Boy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember watching it because I worked at Blockbuster.
Oh, okay.
I know. I know.
I was like, wait, how did he see
That's how old I am. That's how old I am. But yeah, I brought it home because I got movies for free. I brought it home like, guys, this looks kind of cool. We like foreign movies. We watched it. And I remember just looking at everybody when the ending, when the thing happens.
Mm-hmm.
We were just all like, shut the fuck up. It's one of those. If you wanna weirdly wreck your Friday night, I recommend it. Yeah. Okay. Old Boy. Was not expecting that. Cool. Couple others. We got John Wick on one side. We got Old Boy on the other. We got any others? Jumanji.
The new one, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Okay, I haven't seen the new one.
The new one with The Rock.
Is it action though?
A little bit.
I mean, so there's action elements.
Is it like adventure or something?
Okay, well, see, now here's what's interesting. I didn't know we'd have this conversation today. We can entertain it a little bit. There is some gray area, right? I think especially these days, especially for the sake of argument, say 2010 on, like past decade, it seems like you get a lot more action elements in movies. Like one movie that might be similar to what you're talking about, very old, the Indiana Jones movies. Those are called action adventure. So like there's action stuff going on, and it's absolutely in the genre. But that's not its necessarily primary concern, right? Whereas like a John Wick, that is like we're here to shoot people in the face. That's what this movie is for, right? Your movie, I think, I said Indiana Jones, you're like, yeah, kind of like that. It's more like it's the quest narrative. We're here for the hero's journey, or in this case, maybe a group of people, but they're gonna go from point A to B, and you're gonna it's watching them get there that's important. And they do some actiony stuff to do it, right? But that's not necessarily the goal.
Can you argue that Rocky is that same way though?
How so?
Well, it's his journey
Sure.
to that final.
Careful with spoilers, by the way.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, like the montages of him
Sure.
and everything. Like it's his journey.
Absolutely. It is.
The action is there.
It is. And this is what I meant by I wasn't prepared to have this conversation today, right? But yeah, that's kind of a weird thing about the genre is it depends on who you talk about. Like there are some purists who would say action can only be I'm not here for all your talking. I'm not here for your, just all the parts where he's doing the gun all the crazy ways. Or should you broaden it some to include, and if that's the case, yeah, I mean, what's interesting to me about a movie like Rocky, I'm trying to be real careful, because we had a couple people say they'd never seen it, which to me is honestly mind-blowing.
Is it like Creed?
It's
I think it's part of the same universe.
Yeah.
Creed is like a sequel to.
This is when Creed's coach was younger in boxing. But yeah, pretty similar. But even in those movies, right? Same kind of deal. There's action in those movies, but it's not the main goal, right? It's a means to an end, for the most part. And yeah, to that, I guess to kind of look forward a little bit to what we're going to talk about is what might it say about us that our action movies, if you include movies like that in it, right? That's not the primary motivation, right? Because if all we made was John Wick, I think John Wick sounds awesome. I'd still like to see it, even though my wife fucking ruined it for me. Have you all seen it?
No.
Okay. Well, just at some point, an important thing happens to a character that if somebody told you, you'd be like, well, I never got to watch that fucking movie now. She told me that. Thanks. But if all we made was movies like that, you would probably have an argument for man, that's a really violent culture over there. I don't know if I want to visit, right? But if in that same genre, you could almost say, well, that's one kind of action movie. On the other hand, you have action adventure, you have like quest narrative type stuff, where it's almost like you do what you got to do, is one way to think about it. Like I'm envisioning Jumanji, if it's like Indiana Jones, is a little bit like Rocky. You get the sense, like, especially once you get to know his character, dude doesn't have a lot of options. Like, it's either this or, I mean, you see what he does when he's not boxing. Yes, like the place he's from and the kind of guy he is, it seems like the opportunities he's had or maybe not had, this is kind of what he has to do, right? To make it work. And that's a different story. But that says something about us too, that we have those kinds of stories. So the short answer to what you asked originally is, yeah, I think so. Yeah, absolutely. Die Hard in a similar way. Has anybody not seen Die Hard? Oh my God.
I haven't seen that.
It's all good. It's all good. It's blowing my mind. It's good though. I would love, there's some movies you would love to be able to go back and see for the first time, you know? All these movies I feel that way about. I'm going to date myself real quick and then we'll get out of here. The Matrix came out in 1999. I remember watching it in the theater. I was 13. I know I'm old. I know that. That's not the point. The point is, I was 13. And I saw The Matrix in the theater, and I was just like, that was fucking crazy. At 13, you're not ready for that, right?
I went and saw it with my dad at 5 years old, and it was like, this is like a great movie. All of them.
Yeah. I remember, has anyone ever seen any of the Predator movies? Also, actually, those are great. I almost put that on the syllabus, but I couldn't make it fit. Those movies are awesome. My dad showed me Predator when I was 5.
Yeah, my dad is a huge Predator fan.
They're really good. Probably a little violent for 5. I still remember he showed me the second one. There's a scene where the Predator kills this dude in an alley. And he takes a trophy. You see him sling the guy's spine over his back as like a trophy.
Nice.
I was 5. It wasn't nice for me. But I still like the movie. Anyway, so yeah, that was probably enough conversation with today. I know some of you are fading. I know it's that kind of day. Not least of it, it's very gray outside. It's just not helpful. But I wanted to give you a little bit of a preview into the kinds of ideas, the kinds of conversations I want to have with you this semester. Okay? So again, when we go to watch these movies, starting with Rocky, I hope you enjoy it. I do. I believe you will for the most part, and I can't guarantee that for everybody. But I think you will. But even if you don't, like, we're not just watching them to enjoy them, even though I do hope you do. We're also watching them to think about some of these questions I think we've started to raise today. We'll raise a few more next time. And really all it is, again, is what is any, like, when you watch Rocky, what came out in 78? 76? Is it 76?
I thought it was 77.
Hell with it. Into the 70s, right? It's a very 70s movie. And I know that because I've seen a lot of 70s movies.
Is it like Fight Club?
In that people are getting punched.
Yeah.
You never seen Rocky?
No.
Oh, it's good. Okay. It's like I said, it's probably not what you expect. I will say that. And if it's not, push through that, because there may be a little bit of like, when are they going to start punching people? But it's good, I think. It's a good movie. We'll talk about it. But basically, I wanted to leave you this. All the movies we watch, all the movies we talk about, they say something about the place and time they're from. What those people were motivated by or worried about or valued, right? And it's the same way with the movies we make today. Like, the newest Wonder Woman, I haven't seen it yet, but I keep seeing these articles online about how it's like the movie we need right now, or about like it's like really uplifting in some way or something.
I heard it sucked.
Well, I've heard that too, but it depends on, no one likes everything. But my point is, both of those can be true, because everybody feels different ways about different things. But even if it's just why would we feel like we would need this narrative around a movie that it's like uplifting and stuff, right? That says something about us, that we are looking for that. Do you know what I mean? And that's all I'm getting at. Like, all of these movies have different effects on people in their time, and that's for a reason. And it's worth thinking about, because we do it all the time now too. All right. Does anybody have any questions for me before I cut you loose? I've been talking all day, man. I'm getting hoarse. All right. Like I said, there's no homework for Wednesday. I would look for ways to have Rocky watched a week from this Wednesday. I know it's hard to say. Just go ahead and start looking for that, because that'd be a shitty thing to have to figure out like the night of. And yeah, we're gonna sit in here next time, watch a documentary for a little bit, but then we will talk about it. It'll be a good time. All right, I'll see you guys. Thank you.